Hey, Assel, welcome to our next podcast. The topic today is what domain should I use for cold outreach? And we get asked this a couple of times because some companies are using an extra inbox on their primary domain. Some companies are setting up new domains and new inboxes, and they just ask what is best practice. So, what do you say in the case of that?
First thing is never to use your primary domain for the cold outreach, primarily because of your reputation. When I say reputation, I mean technically um, reputation in terms of the Google ranking. Because if you are sending cold emails via your primary domain, and if somebody decides to report you as spam, it's gonna hurt your domain reputation, and eventually your domain is going to get blacklisted over the time, which is a huge risk if you are running your business. So um, it's always better to use separate domains for the cold outreach, never to use your primary domain. Even if you don't get the blacklist, you might run into a problem where your emails are landing in spam more often, and maybe you'll lose opportunity if you're talking to prospects or clients, going back and forth. It will cause you a lot of trouble. So the best way would be to use separate domains, and a lot of people suggest to use subdomains because it doesn't cost you any money. With the subdomains, it does give you a benefit that you won't get blacklisted. But again, if you are using the same server for the outreach, the subdomain, and people have decided to report you as spam for any reason, um, again, your email deliverability will be hurt. You are going to face the spam issue a lot. So it's better to go for separate domains. That's the first reason.
Can I
And
just clarify? So when we're talking about your domain, a subdomain, a different domain, just practically what we're talking about is if it's www.company.com
yeah,
and you have, name at company.com and you're using an inbox to send cold emails, if people don't like it, they'll flag you as spam, and that will eventually damage and tarnish the domain, which means it damages you in your Google rankings, and it will mean that eventually all emails from your company name will go into spam. Is
yeah,
that right? And it's the
yeah.
same even if you're using a subdomain like app.company.com, something like that. Okay. Yeah, we see this often actually with our clients who've been trying cold email for a while and they're not sure why it's not working
Yeah.
and realizing, yeah, you're probably damaging your primary domain. Okay, thanks for clarifying. So if you just continue.
Sure. So when I say use different domain, I'll give you an example. If your current domain is, like you said, www.company.com, try to look for domains which are very similar to your company name. It could be www.thecompany.com or www.company.info. If that is available, just buy and put a redirect to your original domain and keep email inboxes on the new domain that you have purchased. It has definitely benefits with the outreach, because if anything goes south, you have nothing to lose. Your primary domain is safe. And secondly, it does have certain impact on the SEO for at least for the short term, because once you have more domains, the backlinking to your primary domain, it definitely helps you with the SEO ranking.
Okay, so can I just clarify?
Yeah,
You're saying if my domain is company.com, I buy a slightly different domain like thecompany.com or company.info.
yeah,
How do I make sure that people know it's me? You know what I mean? Like if it's slightly different,
yeah.
if they go to that domain, it's just like an empty domain, like there's no website. How do they find my website?
So you just need to put a redirect. So if you just put a redirect in the cPanel, of the new domain that you have bought. If somebody is going for thecompany.com, it will be redirected to company.com right away within a second. So
It sounds like that's quite easy to do a
yeah,
redirect. Right,
yeah,
right, right. Okay, so if somebody looks up thecompany.com, it should redirect immediately to my website. And so
yes,
really they should almost never know that it's not the right domain unless they like look really carefully.
yeah. So I'd say that we have 18 different domains that we are using for our own outreach. And every one of them is being redirected right away to Agency. And one of the key things that we make sure that we do is we have created all the email inboxes under the name of the founders, which is you and I. So if I'm creating an email account for you, Jen Bishop, so I'm gonna make sure that we have the right kind of branding. Our Google logo is there. Our logo is there at the Google. I'm using your current LinkedIn profile picture as a reference for the email inbox so that there is some authenticity. And if somebody decides to go to the website, then they can have more information about you. So it will just make everything look under one brand and similar. One thing that I have seen in past, a lot of freelancers do, they just create different personal Gmail accounts and they just start doing the outreach. The reason could be to save money or they don't have the right knowledge, maybe that. But the problem is it looks really shady and spammy. So if I reach out to someone with the personal Gmail account which says the Sader company dot at the rate gmail.com, it won't work because it sounds really spammy right away and it shows that I don't know what I'm doing.
So just to clarify, you're saying don't use free Gmail like the company at gmail.com. It's
Yeah.
much better to actually spend the money and take the time to buy the domain, redirect the domain, and set up the inboxes on the domain, but making sure those inboxes look and feel exactly like the company. So they've got the signature, they've got the email, they've got the photo, they've got the name and everything like that. And that's best practice for cold outreach. And that the main thing is to protect the primary domain from kind of spam or blacklisting or any kind of problem with created by cold outreach. Got it. Okay.
But one more thing I would like to add, Jen, is doesn't only going to protect your primary domain. With that, with this approach, you can also increase the volume of outreach. So if you have just one domain, you can only send X number of emails. But if you have two domains and uh, two more email accounts added to your bandwidth, now you can run 2x the amount of emails and you just multiply that number as many times as you want on separate domains. And that way, again, it's protecting your primary domain, it's helping you with the backlinking. And the third thing is you can increase your outreach more effectively than exhausting your resources that you have.
Okay. Got it. All right. I think that's pretty comprehensive and clear. Thank you so much for the information about why we should use a different domain. See you in the next podcast.
Thanks, and thank you.